Good afternoon, everyone. Attila Sabo speaking from the GRC from Budapest. Welcome to this session today. Thanks everyone for being here. I see 11 participants already connected. Let's hope a few more colleagues will be able to join so we can have a fruitful discussion. I was originally planning to discuss the second assignment in PM1, the content of the second assignment that you are already viewing by now, hopefully, because the deadline for that assignment was due recently for your learners. But I also think that we should use this opportunity as an informal discussion around the tutoring program so far. What is your experience? What are the challenges that you have encountered so far? Do you have any questions? So things like that. I hope you all have a microphone, so I will not be listening to my own voice for 60 minutes. I think you can unmute yourself, if I'm not mistaken. We are using Skype for Business. This is not the usual WebEx application that I do my other webinars in, but I think this is a smaller audience, and I don't want to be so formal and be owning the functions of muting and unmuting. So in this environment, I think you can unmute yourself if you want to speak. Or you can also use this little chat box, which is on the left side, if you don't have a microphone, but I would love to hear your voice. I plan to be here an hour. I think there'll be enough to discuss things. I'm recording this session, so any other fellow tutors who are not here today can have a look later on. Okay, so to start with, let me say a huge thank you to all of you for the work so far. If you're here, ideally you already have received my comments on your demo assignment, and you have already received the learner profiles from me, and you're already doing the tutoring. You have already introduced yourself and reviewing the first assignment. There was a slight change as opposed to the original agenda. What I did plan to do is a separate webinar session on the assignment tool, the technicalities of the assignment tool, but I decided not to engage you too much because I do have a good YouTube video that I recorded recently on the features and specificities of that tool. But I would like to hear from you. Did you manage to use the assignment tool, and is everything clear with the features and your role, your password? What are the statuses? Do you want me to have a quick overview of the tool? Maybe someone could comment on it. Martin, thank you. It's clear so far. Sophia, thank you. All clear. I think the tool is pretty much straightforward. So you had to register for the first time. If to get a password, that's something straightforward. Let me just quickly share my screen, so we will quickly have a look. Okay, so does everyone see my screen? Hopefully yes. Okay, so This is the link that I sent you in the email. You registered. Sorry, there's another tutor on the other chat. Yes, so you have your password, the user ID is your email address. This is pretty much straightforward. You will only have summer cohort here, and then you see the course progress report, which is the most useful view. Now I see everyone, every learner. You obviously see one, maximum two names here. As you can see, pretty much a lot of the boxes, this is for the first assignment, a lot of the boxes are still blue, that meaning that the learner has submitted an assignment and waiting for your comments. So please try to get the first assignment done, because already the second assignment is past the deadline, which was like quite recently, but the first assignments should more or less be reviewed by now. So let's just click on an empty learner. This learner has not submitted assignments so far. So this is where you put your text info and your introduction and your comments, and obviously as we discussed, you attach your feedback in a separate document. You put your feedbacks into the assignment document itself. Now just one thing to emphasize: the assignment status, it is important to change it when you are providing your feedback, because I did see that not everybody changes the status actually. If I just go in a learner who has already submitted something like this learner, so here I can change to past or rework. This is important because you can just as well type your comment here, attach the file, attach your feedback, and just leave it as submitted. That's difficult for me because when I run my reports, I will see this learner as currently submitted. So I might send you a reminder, which is wrong because you did send your feedback but just forgot to change the status to rework. Okay, and also make sure to always click on paused when the learner is done, because otherwise there will be completion issues for the learner. Yeah, if you're granting an extension, you can use this grant extension feature if you wish. If you set anything different here than the original deadline, which was 15th of June, the system reminders will go to the learner according to the newly granted extension. That's what this feature does, because by default the system will send 3 reminders to the learner if the assignment is not yet submitted. It will send a reminder, I think, few days before, on the day it is due, and few days after the assignment is due if it is not submitted. If you grant an extension, these reminders will go to the learners later. And I think that's about it. There's no big deal around the assignment tool. It's an easy tool, straightforward to use. So anyone has a question on that? Or would like to share anything around the assignment tool? Okay, we have now 17 of us here, which is great. You can also use the chat box. Okay, so just let me know if you're stuck with the assignment tool. Drop me an email. Make sure to include a screenshot so I can follow up with tech colleagues here in Budapest if there is any issue with your account or in the system. Okay, so just another question on the first assignment. Who has already marked the first assignment pass? Can you let us know, either by talking to us or just put it in the chat box if you have already marked your first assignment pass? I'm sure someone did, at least. Sophia, I see you have already passed Andreas so far. Who else? Apparently only Sophia from the tutors. So Sophia, how was your experience? Are you here? Can you talk to us? Okay, Sophia is not around the machine, maybe. So anyone else has good or bad experience with the first assignment? This is a question. This is a question. So I'm looking for any experience with the first assignment. Okay, Alem Sehai, can you talk to us? I I think I'm sure you have a mic. Can you talk to us? It would be great to hear someone speaking.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you well.
Oh, so you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
That's great.
So, what was your experience with your learner for the first assignment? Okay. Alem Sehai has left the meeting. Unfortunately, I hope she'll be back. What about Hadir? Hadir, can you talk to me? Hadir, do you have a microphone? Okay. Uh, what about Bino? Do you have a mic? Okay, so not a lot of us with the microphone today, unfortunately. So let me comment on the chat messages that were submitted so far. So Alam Sehai, she's saying the assignment she received was not complete. I asked the participant to finalize and submit it today, but no feedback from her. Well, you see the difficulty and also the challenges about the tutoring program and the tutoring activities motivation. So you really need to concentrate your efforts on motivation, because learners might be slow, they might be discouraged that their assignment is not passed for the first time. But that's the point. That's the point of the tutoring component of PM1, that they have to interact with another human being and not just go through an automated experience. So I cannot give you the magic formula. Please do remind the learner to submit whatever he or she has. Obviously, the timely submission from the learner has to do with the participation of the workshop, and things might go slow in these months because it's July and it's hot outside, at least here in Budapest, and people are on leave. I don't know if you had the chance to discuss any leave issues with the learner. So they might be away on leave, so they might not see your comments on your emails. So things will get faster when we approach the workshop. Okay, so your learners will come to Budapest hopefully in November for the PM1 trainings, and they need to have everything marked pass by what did I put in the syllabus? Yeah, so around September they should be done with everything. 3 assignments, all the reworks, everything should be completed by September, because we will be issuing administrative instructions already then. So things will speed up in August, definitely, when we get closer to the deadlines. Hadir, she's saying one of the participants has not submitted all the reminders and extensions of deadline. I mean, yeah, just repeating myself, you can send another reminder, send an email, also send a message in the assignment tool. If you have the capacity, you could also pick up the phone. Now, I cannot ask you guys to start calling your learners, because that's really an effort, and you have to be in your office and respect office hours and all that. But if you have the capacity, you can give a ring to the learner. That works quite well, because emails can be like put in folders and marked flagged and then never answered. But when the phone rings, it works well. So you can get in touch with the colleague more easily. Of course, as a last resort, we can take over the deadline policing from you, but not necessarily at this point. So let me see what was the schedule. So the first assignment for the spring people was due 15th of June. Okay, so 15th of June. That's less than a month ago. Normally the GLC would start sending kind of stronger messages after 1 month. Okay, so um, I guess if your learner still doesn't do anything, please do let us know. If you send the learner a message through email, copy pm1.unhcr.org. So copy this email address, which I just put in the chat box. So my colleagues will know that there's an issue with this person, and we will send stronger messages reminding them about the workshop, eligibility, and so forth. Okay, but other than that, I don't have a magic formula. It's really your creativity and your motivation on how you get your learner around to submit their work. There are different persons. There are learners who submit their work way before the deadline. That also happens. And there are other learners who are more busy and like to keep things for the last minute. Okay, let me see if there are any more comments. Bino, yeah, this is a delayed submission, same thing. Abdu, dear Attila, I observed from the marked assignment on analyzing budgets that the e-tutor has made much more effort than the learner. Is it a common example? A good point. I mean, I try to include samples which were rich in comments from the tutor. My answer is no. This is not a common example, but I think for the purpose of drawing sources of inspiration, I think it's good to look at these feedbacks. I don't expect you to be as rich. You don't need to provide more comments than your learner provided. That's not a rule by far. There's no such thing. This was the sample which I just sent you before this session was also marked rework. So this assignment was not passed for the first round. This tutor gave very rich comments. You can go into this level of detail if you have the time and you have that kind of style. Not everyone has this kind of style. You can be more straight to the point. Obviously, it also depends on the length of comments and thoughts from the learner. If your learner is very, very brief, you would obviously send back the learner for rework just because of the lack of content in the assignment. Then, you know, your comments might just as well be more detailed than the learner. But this is not really a common example. Okay. Now let me ask you, did you check the scoring file that I also included in the SharePoint folder? So let me share that. Let me share that with you. Okay, so these are the folders that that was shared with you when I send the learner profile. So that link in the learner profiles will take you here, or maybe I should bring in sorry, let me bring in the online version, because that's what you actually see. These folders contain everything that is linked to the tutoring activity. Okay, I tried to be logical and organized everything into folders, so you should find it easy to navigate. Okay, so this is what you actually see when you click on the link that was in my email with the learner profiles. Okay, so there are 3 assignments. In each folder you have the scoring rubrics, which is something we'll check in a moment. You have the assignment together with the comments. All the green stuff in these guidance documents are for you. Okay, I'm sure you've seen them. These are things you can read and use to compile your feedbacks. Okay, this is the assignment body itself. This is where your learners have commented, have put their responses, and this stuff is something you can use to formulate your feedbacks, but this is by far definitely not to be copy pasted into your feedbacks. Just use them as a point to start. Okay, and what is also useful for you is to use these documents. This is something your learner has as well. Okay, so this is part of the assignment package that is available to learners. Okay, you can use this document to clearly indicate, to make it explicit, what did the learner pass and what needs further rework. Okay, and this document also gives you a good idea of what you need to check. Okay, these are really the criteria that you need to check and obviously comment on, either if it's pass or rework. Okay, and every assignment in PM1 has this document. So if I go to the folder of the second assignment, as you can see, second assignment, this one also has the scoring document. It's the same thing, just for the second assignment. This is, you see 7 points which has to be looked at within the assignment and marked pass or rework with this document for the learner. Have you used this document for the first assignment, this one? This is a question. So just type. Let me know if you're using this document. This is a question. Okay, Hadir, thank you. So you're using the document. It's good. It's important to use that document because, as I said to many of you, in your sample assignment, many of you have not clearly indicated that whether the assignment is a pass or a rework. Now with this document, it's very easy to be explicit and make it clear what is passed, what needs to be reworked. Okay, so I see a few colleagues don't hear me. For you, let me try to Just a second. So for colleagues who cannot hear me, please check this link for help on how to set up your audio device, such as your headset. Okay, you can find some more. You can find the detailed step-by-step stuff on how to connect to Skype with a headset. Please try to log in, because I don't have really the time now to help you individually, because we have a fixed schedule here. Okay, so if you don't have any more questions at this point, let's quickly go through the second assignment, and I suggest that a good start for the second assignment is actually this scoring document. The scoring document is a good point to start. So let me put that back on the screen. I just need to share my screen. So if you start your feedback, or you just have a look at this document before doing anything, I suggest, and this will give you a clear idea of what the assignment is about. Okay, so second assignment about budget stuff. It's not really a big deal. I think for you guys, definitely it's quite basic. It's about reading budget info, distinguishing between pillars, distinguishing between budget categories and prioritization levels, comparing targets with budget allocations, a little bit of GSPs, and a little bit of fundraising. That's it. No big deal. Okay? So the first thing is that learners need to present the correct budget figures according to pillars, PPGs, and goals. Okay, so this is done through looking at an Excel. Okay, this Excel is an attachment to the assignment. This is an operations plan budget. Okay, it has figures, OL, AOL, partner, direct implementation, ABOT stuffing. It has results framework elements and targets, OL, OP targets for the indicators. It doesn't have a narrative part. We didn't want to make this so complicated. Okay, it's only figures and indicators, right? So basically the first part of the assignment is to analyze this thing, to demonstrate that they understand what this table shows. Okay, what they need to do first is to fill another table. Let me open that now. That's it. Obviously, they don't have the figures populated. Yeah, obviously. They have this table empty, nothing. So this, for them, this part is empty. This Excel is only available to you. It's available in the SharePoint folder. This is what they need to present to you. So basically, your job for the first part is very easy. You need to compare this table with their table, and the figures have to match. It's not really a big deal. It's kind of a copy-paste exercise. if you check the other Excel, this is a grouped Excel, so you have these minuses on the side. If I close them, I will only see goal level figures. So this is kind of the same thing as what is required. If I can fit it on one screen, let me try. So you see, it's more or less the same thing, yeah. They just need to get figures from this table, which they have, and fill in the other table, which is a little bit different in terms of breakdown. So they need to have a basic logic of what to add, what to sum up, and things like that. There's only one trick. There's only one trick in this assignment, in this budget, that you have refugee returnees under Pillar 1 and refugee returnees under Pillar 3. Okay, this is not a common thing in UNHCR, but it does exist. These figures were the operations planned for Afghanistan in 2017 or 2016, I don't remember which year, but it's an actual set of it's an actual plan. Okay, so the trick, and what you will see most often as a mistake, that they don't distinguish between returnees under Pillar 1 and returnees under Pillar 3. Yeah? I'm sure you know what's the reason behind. The initial stages of the returnee movement are supported from the core funding. So these would be like initial returning packages given, or transit centers established, stuff like that. Really activities linked to the very early stages of a return movement. And then when UNHCR would engage with the development actors for longer term projects at the country of origin, that would be budgeted based on available earmark funding, that will be budgeted under Pillar 3. Okay, so that's the only trick. Otherwise, it's kind of copy paste exercise. Okay. Any questions? Any questions on this part? Please tell me yes or no in the chat box if you have a question or if all is clear. Thanks, Hadir. Alam, say hi. You're back. Good to see you. I think you've lost connection. Just you were the only one who wanted to talk to me. I'm so sorry you got disconnected. Yes. So for whoever completed PM1, it's the same thing. Just you're on the other end of the process. But not everyone completed PM1, so for you guys it might be something you see for the first time. Martin, how about you? I haven't seen your comments. Or Kerly, is it all clear so far?
Hi, Attila. Call you. Are you listening?
Hi. I can hear you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's all clear for me. Thank you.
Where are you joining from the Americas?
Sorry?
Where are you tuning in now from?
Hi.
Hello.
I can hear you. Hello?
Just a question. Where are you sitting now? Somewhere really far from Budapest, correct?
Yes, I am in Ecuador. near to
So it's
the
very early
border
for
with
you.
Colombia.
It's very early for you
Yes,
now.
yes, 8.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here in this early hour. Thanks a lot. Okay, so that's it. Then the second question in the assignment, let me share my screen back again. Okay. So this is the assignment text that your learners are actually looking at. See, this is the empty space. Obviously, they have it in a separate Excel, so they don't need to fill it in here. They have a separate annex, the empty Excel file that they will use. This is the question, the first question that we've been discussing so far. Prepare budget overview, providing breakdown per PPG, subtotals per pillar, etc. Okay, I think this is really straightforward. You can ask them to, if they just put straight figures, maybe it's good to ask them again to re-emphasize the pillars. What are they? Because this is a concrete example. You know, just make them think about what those figures mean, not just pasting it from the Excel. Second question is again linked to the Excel. Here they need to find fully prioritized, partially prioritized, and non-prioritized objectives from the plan. Okay? This is also, I think, straightforward for you at least. So they would look at this table. Oops. Look at this table again, and this time they need to go into more details and look at this budget, this plan from more closer. And obviously they would have to find something where the OL is 0, but there is only AOL money, and vice versa, and something that is partially prioritized where you have figures for both budget components, such as potential for voluntary return. There are examples for all of them in the plan. If I click on the scoring document, that will be the second point. First point was budget correctly presented in the table. Examples are provided fully, partially, not prioritized objective. Okay, this is again straightforward. If you check your scoring document, there will be examples. Question 2. We collected some examples for you. Okay, again, very easy. If it's a non-program stuff who you are working with, you can ask them to elaborate on what this means. What this means in terms of the activities. What it means if it's fully prioritized, partially, and not prioritized at all. Okay, this is straightforward. Question 3 is more interesting. This is where they compare performance information with budgetary information. This is kind of looking at the coherency of their plan. Provide and explain an example of objective where budgetary allocations and targets are realistic, and another example where budgetary allocations and targets are not realistic. Okay. This is where they need to find budgetary allocations which don't match performance targets. I think again, pretty straightforward from the figures. In real life, you would obviously have to look at the narrative justifications for any discrepancies, which is not available in this assignment. It's just that they have to understand that the plan has to make sense. It's not just a bunch of numbers. It has to make sense on the between performance and financial figures as well. Okay. Right. In the scoring document, objective with realistic, an objective with disproportion. Okay, so basically these are the 2 points which I've been talking about. Did they find a good example? Did they find a bad example? As simple as that. Then learners will look at apportionment of ABOD and stuff to objectives. This is interesting. Subject to what kind of learners you're looking at. For program stuff, you could ask for a bit more details on this one, because it's an important concept, and not everyone is totally clear on what this is about. If it's a non-program audience, I think you might have to put some extra effort here, and maybe put an explanation as part of your response. What does apportionment mean? How is it done? What's the purpose of this? It's there in the modules, but I don't think it's so well articulated. And you know, apportionment, as far as I've seen around trainings, it's kind of one of those things that are not well understood or well appreciated. So people think it's just making life complicated. So in the assignment document, this is question 4. Compare the value of operational budget with the value of ABOD and staff cost for the same budget line. So basically, this is about the ratios, the so-called ratios. What is the ops per ABOD and staffing? Okay. Any questions so far? Drita is typing something. Sophia is typing something. Okay. No questions. I think it's all clear. The task here is not to be you know, the assignments are not rocket science, to be honest. It's really about the efforts and what the learner did learn in the modules, and how the learner presents his thoughts. It's really about motivation and a whole lot of other things. Martin, you want to add something? Please unmute yourself and talk to us if you're here. Okay, Martin just left the session for some reason. So let's hope he'll be back. Okay. So let's move on then. Martin, you're back. Hello, Martin, are you there?
Hello?
Hey, good to hear
Hi,
you.
hi. Good to hear you too. Hello, everyone. Attila, out of experience, I just wanted to share something with colleagues. The second assignment when I was doing PM1 was the one where I expected more, clear examples from the tutor. So I thought it might be good if I share this experience. When giving feedback to the learner, it would be very good if we give a very concrete example which is not maybe from the same table, from the same operations plan or the Excel table that we have, because sometimes the feedback you give might be interpreted differently. So I think this is one of those areas where we have to be very concrete, give as many examples as possible, maybe say the same thing in different ways so that the learner can really understand what is expected of him or her, because it's very programmatic. I think, as you said, specifically for those who are not in program, it might be a little bit of challenge, not the issue of the material and the content, but the fact that how you should approach answering the questions. So I thought I should share this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot indeed. I always emphasize and I think in every communication to you guys and other tutors that really the best thing you can do in this approach, in this program, is to share your own experience. Because what we can share are material, e-learnings, documents, assignments. It's dry, it's static, I'm not saying it's fake because it's coming from the real thing, but it's static. It's not something real happening right now. And please do share anything you find relevant, because that will make your feedback interesting. That will make your feedback live and enjoyable to read. So if you want to share your own ratios, please feel free, absolutely free to do that. You can share your own pillar budgets if you think that would add to your feedback. You can share the figures and kind of describe the intervention a bit, not just this is pillar one, this is pillar two, this is refugees, this is stateless. So just giving a bit of background of what the response is, what is the main project in the operation, the biggest things happening, and how those look from a budgetary perspective. Yeah, that's great. Absolutely. Especially in the staffing ratios, because that's so unique for every operation, and even within an operation, across the different pillars, it can be huge differences in how UNHCR responds to certain situations. So, for example, if you have a stateless activity, or if you have a protection intensive type of response, which is not like the average in terms of ratios when it comes to operations and non-operational costs. So yeah, great point, Martin. I encourage everyone to follow this great advice. All right, so then the next thing within this assignment is a little bit about GSPs and then some fundraising. So GSPs needs to be identified in the budget. It's pretty easy, actually. Let me bring in the document. Yeah, so they can grasp what are the GSPs within the document. They can do this in many ways. I think the GSPs are part of the assignment itself. Let me quickly check. So the GSPs are available to learners in the assignment resources. The most recent annex to the planning instructions, GSPs for 18 and 19. So that document has this linkage between indicators and GSPs, and if they find the indicators in the plan, they should be able to link them with the current GSPs. That's easy. That's just a matching exercise. The important thing is that they check the budgetary allocations to the GSPs within this plan, that they compare budget allocated for GSPs and other parts of the plan. Is it realistic? Is it good? Is it bad? Is enough attention given to GSPs, looking at the budgetary allocation? And again, if you have any personal experience related to GSP objectives, or how your operation is working to achieve GSPs, you can just as well share that. Especially if your learner is good and there's nothing much to correct in the assignment, that's when sharing personal experience comes handy. Okay? And the last question is related to fundraising, or not really fundraising, but kind of funding mechanisms in UNHCR. It's about it's kind of an interagency type of question where this operation, the plan that they are looking at, is engaged in IDP response, and there is a common a humanitarian fund available within this response, and it was agreed by the humanitarian coordinator that UNHCR will get a share of the pooled fund, and they need to check basically that there is enough OL budget for that certain component, which was approved within the country pooled fund. And it's the shelter cluster, so it's the shelter objective for the IDPs, and the amount is 2 million. The answer is the short answer is easy. Not enough oil is there. I think only $500,000 or something. So what their answer should be that a reallocation is required. You can ask them. You can ask your learner whether they are clear on why this have to be within the OL. I don't know. I leave that to you. Let me pull in the scoring document. What did we suggest you to do? Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff we put for you. This is where they can find more info on that. The problem is that the total O for this pillar is 1.5 and only 400,000 of ops. So not enough oil to accommodate the contribution. You can provide more detail on how these funding mechanisms work if you wish. We collected some points for you here, but I would maybe focus on how the funding mechanisms work, make sure that they understand why are we fundraising against our OL. So you can add some points about that. Why? Because yeah, you know, if if they have not yet been exposed to this topic, they would obviously think that let's fundraise against AOL, or let's ask for OP increase. So these kind of common questions, if they come up, please elaborate well enough the concept. So why are we fundraising against OL, and what the OL means actually for the operation? Why is that we need to fundraise against an OL? So this kind of stuff. And obviously they have to provide a good explanation on what should be done exactly about this contribution, because it's not really a fundraising question, because in the assignment it says that the fund is already given, so there's not much fundraising to do in this example. It's about how to accept and how to manage that contribution, what are the steps to be taken to allocate enough OL space and stuff like that. And that's it. That's about the second assignment. Any questions? Anything to add? Is it all clear what you need to do? Okay, Martin, yes. Ibrahim, yes. Leticia, thank you. You can check the demo assignments. It was a good question from Ibrahim. Let me bring that in. Yeah, so it's kind of pretty much detailed. I like this trophy. You can add pictures. Why not? This is a great idea. You see, so this is the learner's response. This is quite weak. When I used to do feedbacks previously, I would not really accept this. So let them be more detailed. Actually, this feedback is kind of, it's already giving the answer. So this is what I would kind of ask for the learner to put. I would not already put it there. So there's nothing much for the learner to do, But it's anyway, it's a good source of inspiration, I think. It's very detailed, so it's no push for you to don't feel a need to be this much detail by far. Just read through these documents. There are two more on top of this, two more interesting sample feedback from the spring cohort. You can also read them. I don't think they're this much detail. But it has great elements. That's why I included. So the person goes into details what it is when we think about ABOD, fuel maintenance, DSA for stop communication. So you can go into a little bit of technical details and come up with examples. So you can draw good examples from this one. I just want to see on the funding issue. Yeah, so module 4 is the reference. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a bit too much, I would say, but definitely go through and use something that you might like. Okay. Fahim, it means the details should be as summarized as possible. No, I wouldn't say it has to be summarized as possible. It has to be meaningful to the learner. There's not really a guidance on how much detailed you should be. Don't put useless things in your feedback just to have the word count, obviously. Yeah, be straight to the point, but you can give your story, you can give your examples and your personal views on this, whether you agree with this approach of pillar-based budgeting and stuff components or not, your own operational examples, stuff like that, personal stories from other operations you might have been to. But it's definitely not a race against a given character count in your feedbacks. It's not at all about that. Any other questions, comments? Okay, so please do your best in your feedbacks and do your feedbacks above all, because if you haven't yet started assignment 1, please jump on it, because it's quite a while since that was due. I don't know when your learner submitted it, but it should be finalized pretty soon. The second one is also something that has been submitted a while ago. I don't know about each of your learners, but I will be checking that as well and send you some updates and reminders. If you're stuck, if you're having an issue, please do let me know, because it's much easier to address things at this point than later on, when it's too close to the workshop. Okay, so if you think you have a problem with your learner, please, or your capacity or anything, please do come to me and we'll try to find a solution. Patrick is asking, have you assigned learners to us? Yes, I have assigned learners to everyone. If you haven't received any learners, please do drop me a message, okay? You might not have completed the preparation phase, such as the demo assignment that was mandatory as part of the preparation phase. So if that's missing, I might not have given you a learner yet, or I don't know, it's best to discuss that personally, so just drop me a message, okay? But I have learners for everyone, so don't be afraid, don't worry about that. I will fix it. I will be on leave for 2 weeks from now on, so I will check my emails today, tomorrow, if there's anything. Other than that, I will be back around the 20. I will be back on the 23rd of July. Okay, so please try to complete the first and second assignments towards the end of July. I will check on your status again around the 23rd. Okay, so you will hear from me on the 23rd, whether you have passed or you're still working on your feedbacks. I will check everyone and give you an update on what's the progress with your learners. You can keep the PM1 mailbox in copy in the meantime. If there is an issue with your access to the system, or you have heard something about your learner, or you want to report anything, you can use the PM1 mailbox in my absence. Okay, this will be monitored during the next 2 weeks. All right, so thanks a lot everyone for being here this afternoon. I will share this webinar soon for others who have not been able to join in. For those of you who've been here, thanks so much for the comments, and have a great day. See you soon and keep up the good work. Thanks a lot and bye-bye.